The best town for families near Boise, Idaho is going to be Meridian. In this video, I'm going to break down the entire town of Meridian, what to do with your kids, the different areas. I'll even get into jobs, safety, all that stuff. So sit tight. You're about to learn a lot about Meridian, Idaho. One of Meridian's huge benefits is that it is the most centrally located town in the entire valley. It's about 20 minutes west of Boise, so many people who live in Meridian commute to Boise for work. When you ask a local what the first thing that comes to their mind when you mention Meridian, Idaho, they're probably going to say the village at Meridian, and for good reason. It's a huge European-inspired outdoor shopping / entertainment area with a variety of high-end boutique stores like Pendleton, Carhartt, and several others, along with a host of really good restaurants. And I got to throw this recommendation in here as one of my favorite restaurants to go to in Meridian, of all places, and at the village. It's called Sid's Garage. It's like a hole-in-the-wall burger joint. And aside from having awesome burgers, they have these crazy milkshakes that are like, you probably just only want to have like maybe one a year for like a birthday or something like that. But they are absolutely just ridiculously stupid. One of them has like a whole slice of cake on top. It's a huge milkshake. I don't even want to know how many calories are in each of those, but it's kind of a cool thing to check out once in a while and then see if you can tackle it. And I don't frequently come to Meridian, but when I do, I always stop by the village at Meridian, and they have events that go on throughout the entire year, whether it's summer, winter, spring, or fall. In the summer, they've got these awesome water fountains that just add a really cool ambiance to the area. But in the winter, they have a ton of gas fireplaces throughout the whole center patio area, so you can go sit next to them, get warm, all that stuff. And if you have some kids that are into animals, particularly reptiles, and you want to get some entertainment, but you also want it to be educational, there's a world-renowned animal expert by the name of Corbin Maxey who does shows at the village all the time. He has his own YouTube channel, but has been featured on National Geographic, The Today Show, and has several other prestigious shows. And the coolest thing about it is that he is based right here out of the Boise area and does all of these shows for free. And like I said, the village has all these types of events going on throughout the entire year, whether it's in the height of the summer, the heat of the summer, or whether it's 20 degrees in the winter. They'll have an ice skating rink set up. You can go do pictures with Santa Claus, all that stuff. So there is something going on at the village all year round. Meridian has a ton of parks throughout the entire town. One of the biggest ones is Kleiner Park, which is right next to the village. It's almost 60 acres, so it has a ton of space. The park has over 3 miles of walking paths, tons of large trees, and 2 huge fishing ponds. This is one of the largest attractions for the park, with many people coming here to learn to fish. Plus, with easy access, it's great for kids. Almost 5,000 rainbow trout have been stocked here just this year alone by the Department of Fish and Game. And if you're looking for an easy, simple date night, one that I frequently like to do is go get frozen yogurt at the village, and then you just walk over to Kleiner Park in the evening, and then you can walk around all the paths. Great ambiance, super simple, super easy. They have all sorts of events that go on year-round at all the parks throughout Meridian, Kleiner Park being the one that hosts the majority of them. They have food truck parties, all sorts of stuff, farmers markets, fall markets. I was just out at the Potato Festival. Yes, Idaho has a potato festival that goes on for a whole weekend, and we have the huge potato. You've probably seen it on the pickup truck where it goes across the country. Huge potatoes, food, all that stuff. One event that frequently goes on at the majority of the parks in the Boise, Idaho area and really epitomizes living in Boise and Meridian and the surrounding suburbs is the free movie nights in the parks. My favorite is at Settlers Park, which is a really nice park with mature trees and grass, along with a ton of sport courts and a huge splash pad and playground. There's even a pond that you can fish out there as well. It's just a really awesome way that you can spend a Friday evening with your kids. You can take them, they can play in the splash pad, play on the playgrounds, and then go sit down and watch a movie in the park. And then they're going to fall asleep, so you're going to have to carry them to the car and then into the house. It's a great way to spend a Friday night. And if you really want to get your kids tired out in the summer heat, there is a huge water park right here in Meridian that can do just that. Roaring Springs is the biggest water park in the area and is constantly growing. It has all of the stuff that you could possibly want at a resort-style water park: lazy river, wave pool, kiddie section, and the big rides for all the adrenaline junkies. I remember coming here as a kid, and it felt like there were just so many rides that I couldn't even possibly fathom going on all of them in one day. And keep in mind, this was a while ago. They've expanded and expanded and expanded, and they're currently going through one of the biggest water park expansions in the entire country, just for an idea on how much it's growing. But this is Idaho after all, so we have to have something to do in the inclement weather, because that could be 6 months out of the year. And right next next door to the water park is an indoor family event center called Wahoo's Family Fun Zone. They have several go-kart tracks along with laser tag, bumper cars, bowling, and all the arcade stuff for kids. I like to go and use the mini golf courses there, but if you want some more authentic golfing experiences, then Meridian just got the first Topgolf in the entire state just a couple of years ago. It's great for birthday parties. I'm not a golfer, and I'm not going to show you my swing because it looks like I'm trying to chop wood, and I threw my back out last time I went, so I'm not going to do that again.
I'm not good at that sort of thing.
If you're keen on golfing, then Meridian might tug at your heartstrings with 4 golf courses immediately in Meridian and another 20 golf courses within a 20-mile radius. One of the most prestigious golf courses is located right next to Meridian, and that's going to be Spurwing. And it's a huge development that really leans into the luxury golf course living with home prices in there ranging all the way up to several $1,000,000. Do you like race cars? Because Meridian has the largest racetrack in the entire Boise, Idaho area. The Meridian Speedway has been an iconic part of the culture of the Boise area for decades, with races just about every single weekend, and the tickets sell out every single time, so the atmosphere there is just awesome. And they put on the biggest fireworks show for the 4th of July every single year. And the neat thing about the racers and the race car drivers and this whole event is that it's a lot of majority local people. My younger brother is there like every single weekend. He works on several of those race teams, and after the races are done, you can go from the stands and go walk through the pits, meet all the race car drivers. Some of them let you sit in the cars. It's a really cool experience for kids, take pictures in the race cars, just meet and talk to all these people. And like I said, they're just members of the community, so it's a really neat thing to see. Outdoor recreation is a huge cornerstone of the Idaho lifestyle, and lucky enough for the residents of Meridian and the surrounding towns of Meridian, just north of Meridian, there is a huge 545-acre state park. Eagle Island, it is an island right on the Boise River that offers a ton of activities for the residents. Eagle Island didn't used to be much to look at besides a couple ponds and walking trails, but over the last several years, it's been getting some serious makeovers. They have probably the best disc golf course around that cuts through the ponds, along with big sandy beaches around the ponds that are stocked with fish for you to catch. They have a huge zip line course that you can go on there, along with the tubing hills in the winter, but the newest stuff that's going on out there completely revitalizes the area, and I'm sure I'll be spending a ton of time there. Lots of RV spots with full hookups, along with building several brand new lakes for fishing, kayaking, and paddleboarding. And since I opened the can of beans and talked about the Boise River, I can't leave out the entire Boise, Idaho area's favorite pastime, and that's going to be floating the Boise River. Everybody likes to do it throughout the summer. There is a season because in the spring the float is pretty high because of all the snow melt that we have. Not safe, but a lot of people like to do that. I'm that one weirdo that whenever I go floating on the Boise River, I'm not going to sit around and drink and talk. I just have my goggles and my snorkel, and I'm just sitting on the float tube. I'm just looking down, seeing all the stuff that people drop. Cell phones, there's a lot of crawfish in there, looking at all the fish all around. It's a great thing to do, and it's a really easy river to float. There's no rapids or anything like that, so it's super family friendly. But if you want some rivers that have more adrenaline rush, you can definitely get those, because Idaho has some of the best whitewater rafting in the entire world just to the north of us on the Payette River. When it comes to shopping in Meridian, they have literally everything that you could possibly need. Walmart, Costco, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, literally everything. They have it in Meridian. And something that's actually really neat about Albertsons that you may or may not already know is that Albertsons started here in the Boise, Idaho area, and they played a huge role in building up the entire Treasure Valley. Boise State University's football stadium is the Albertson Stadium. One of the biggest parks in Boise is the Catherine Albertson Park. Now, I'm getting a little bit off track here, but Albertsons just built their biggest grocery store yet. In Idaho, we've never seen anything like this before. Everything that you could possibly want in a grocery store, or possibly even look for in a grocery store, Albertsons is going to have it. They have a huge hot food section. You can go and get brisket. They'll slice the brisket right up in front of you. They've got a sushi bar. They have a deli that you can go and they'll build you a sandwich. In the hot food section, my favorite thing to get there is they have chicken wings, the salt and vinegar chicken wings. Awesome. And you can get it in bulk, and it's pretty dang cheap, actually. $8.99 for a pound of chicken wings. That's pretty crazy. Getting off track here, but they have awesome selection throughout the whole store. They have a huge wine section, huge bakery, huge meat section, the best meat section around. I mean, I'm a meat guy. I like to eat meat. steak, anything like that. And they have a huge variety of foods that you might not find usually here in Idaho or at your other grocery stores, like bison, venison, whole duck, whole turkey, whole rabbit from Hungary. I mean, all sorts of stuff. It's really pretty cool. They even have a whole bar, like a real bar in the store right next to their, coffee section, the Starbucks, and they have live music there every single Friday night, which is it's just crazy. But if you want some more local produce, then you can go to the Meridian Farmers Market. Every single town in the Boise, Idaho area has their own farmers market. The majority of them are on Saturdays, but some other towns have them on odd days. Like Caldwell, Idaho has theirs on Tuesdays. Emmett, Idaho has one on Wednesdays. So it just depends. Now, I do have to say, I think Meridian's Farmers Market does have some room for improvement. I'm not super impressed.
I've seen it all before, and I'm not impressed.
Nampa's Farmers Market and the Boise Farmers Market are going to be the two that I would recommend you go check out. In fact, Nampa's Farmers Market has been ranked as one of the top 10 in the nation or something crazy like that. If you check out my Nampa video or my Caldwell videos, you can see those. I've done a lot of video there at those farmers markets, but you can get a lot of local produce in addition to farmers markets just at fruit stands on the sides of the road. How safe is Meridian is probably a huge question that is at the top of your list when it comes to moving to Meridian, Idaho, or any town in general. And it's pretty much agreed upon across the board. No matter what website you look on the internet, there's not a single one that's going to say Meridian's unsafe. In fact, Meridian is one of the safest towns in the entire nation, according to FBI statistics. Like, it ranks in like the top 5, top 10, whichever way you shake it. If you would like to see more of a breakdown into the crime and safety in the entire Boise area in general, I interviewed the Caldwell chief of police, and you can check that video out. I'll have it linked at the end of the video. As for hospitals in Meridian, you have a lot to choose from. The two biggest ones are going to be St. Alphonsus and St. Luke's. In fact, they are one of the biggest employers in the Idaho area. But in addition to that, there's also the urgent care centers like primary health, direct orthopedic care. Especially if you've got kids, you're probably going to run into bumps and bruises, maybe need some stitches or a cast or an x-ray here and there. So Meridian definitely has you covered on just about every single corner. Your biggest employers for Meridian are going to be the West Ada School District, St. Luke's, Blue Cross of Idaho, Walmart, and one of the largest employers is going to be Sensi. And there's a really neat story about that too. Sensi, have you heard of those? They're the candle companies, like the wax burners. It has the light inside and then you put the wax cubes in top. Well, Sensi started here in the Boise, Idaho area. Like, a group of ladies started it, and now it's one of the biggest places in the entire area. And a cool thing is you can actually drive by Sensi Commons. It's literally the world headquarters for Sensi is right in Meridian. Huge area. They've got a big lawn, trees. They even do one of the largest Christmas light shows in the entire Boise area. So you can go there, walk around, check out all the lights. It's all free. Really neat thing, and it's a cool area. I don't know about you, but I really like food, and as a former wrestler, trust me, I can put it down. One of my favorite places to go for breakfast is Biscuit and Hogs in Meridian, and they have an awesome breakfast there. But in addition to that, they have literally all the restaurants that you could possibly want, and interesting restaurants. You're going to hear me touch on food a lot in this video, so it just goes to show that I know what I'm talking about when I say I like good food. The Krispy Kreme that actually makes the donuts is in Meridian, Idaho. They supply it out for the entire area, so you can go to that main location, watch the donuts come down the conveyor belt, go into the oil, fry, go through the glazing process, and you can get fresh donuts hot off the press. Really neat thing to do. And in my previous video about Meridian, if you watched it, I ruffled some feathers when I said In-N-Out Burger really isn't that good. And you're probably wondering, Isaac, why are you mentioning In-N-Out? Well, just this year, Idaho got its very first In-N-Out right in Meridian, like in the same parking lot as the Village at Meridian. And you've probably seen the videos online. The line for the grand opening was like 10 hours long wait. I mean, it was ridiculous. People were staying there overnight, and you're probably coming back to it because I said I would give it another shot, and I still stand on my words. In-N-Out, not worth the hype. One new thing that is coming to Meridian that a lot of people think is going to change the town a lot is going to be Highway 16. As of right now, Highway 16 connects one of the towns to the north, Emmett, down into the Boise area, but it stops right at Highway 2026. Well, the current project is to bring Highway 16 down and connect it to Interstate 84, creating a brand new interchange for the area. A lot of people think that it's going to make that area of Meridian explode, except I really don't think it's it's going to have a very noticeable effect on Meridian, being that it's on such the far end of Meridian. It's not going to impact how people are getting from Meridian commuting to Boise. It's more going to affect the towns to the west of Meridian, perhaps, but that's just something I wanted to throw in here because you might hear people saying, oh, there's a new highway coming to Meridian. I don't see it affecting Meridian really at all. If you find my channel helpful, then do yourself a huge favor, subscribe to the channel so you get notified of all these new things. And whenever you're ready, give me a call or a text message or an email and I'll help you move. Moving on from that stuff, I'm going to break down Meridian into different areas, go over the pros and cons of each of those areas. So Meridian can be broken up into North Meridian, Central Meridian, and South Meridian. North Meridian is known for its suburban growth, and it can be characterized by newer residential developments with a focus on suburban living, and you're going to find many modern master plan communities here. And family-friendly amenities are the main goal for North Meridian. This area is known for its parks, playgrounds, and high-performing schools. North Meridian also has very close proximity to outdoor rec areas like Eagle Island State Park, like I mentioned earlier, for hiking, fishing, family picnics, all that sorts of stuff. North Meridian is also going to include many shopping centers like Costco, the Village, all that kind of stuff. Some of the key differences that are going to distinguish North Meridian from the rest of Meridian is that the infrastructure in North Meridian is generally going to be newer with many well-planned neighborhoods and amenities tailored specifically for modern suburban living, which has made the area really attractive to families and young professionals. When it comes to housing in North Meridian, you're going to see several familiar names popping up because of all of the new development that's going on. Corey Barton Homes, Hubble Homes, Toll Brothers, and you're also going to see a lot of custom home builders or semi-custom home builders. I mean, there's too many to mention. There's a lot of smaller ones and they'll often build in one development and they'll each build a few lots, but like James Clyde Custom Homes builds several nice homes in the North Meridian area as well. Now for the pros of North Meridian. Pro number one is going to be, since North Meridian is so new and it's going through all this development, the infrastructure for all the roads and all the communities is going to be really well laid out. Pro number two for North Meridian is going to be that it is super family friendly, in being that it encompasses two of the highest rated public schools in the area, Eagle High School and Rocky Mountain High School, in addition to having an abundance of parks to hang out. Pro number three is going to be the proximity to dining and shopping. North Meridian, with all that new infrastructure going in, there's a lot of new businesses, new stores going in, so you're going to have really easy access to restaurants, all kinds of stuff like that. And pro number three is going to be proximity to outdoor activities like Eagle Island. Eagle Island is just north of Meridian, so being in North Meridian, you're just a short drive to Eagle Island. Now, when it comes to cons for North Meridian, there are definitely some cons for the area, and we can kind of attribute it back to how it is so new with all the infrastructure and growth and development that's happening up there. The first con is going to be congestion on the roads, mainly around rush hour, which here in the Boise, Idaho area, it's when people are going to and from work, and there's a little bit of a spike when kids are getting out of school around that 3 o'clock time frame, and then a little bit around lunch. There's not much of a lunch rush though. The next con is also going to be attributed to the new development there as well. Some folks, when they are looking for a house, they want a developed community feel, the mature landscaping, the huge trees, and you're not going to get that in new development communities. If you're looking at the drone footage that I have on these videos, you're going to notice that some areas have big trees, some areas don't. That's how you can kind of date those areas. Some subdivisions have the small trees. You can tell that those are pretty new subdivisions, so they're not going to have that really developed, mature look. And one of the top cons that most people attribute to North Meridian is also going to be because of the growth as well, with all those brand new homes and communities. The price of homes and the cost of living is going to be higher in North Meridian. The entry-level homes there are going to be more expensive than maybe some older areas of Meridian. So that's just something to take into consideration as well. Now, when it comes to roads in North Meridian, you're going to have 4 major roads. Chinden Boulevard, also known as Highway 2026, is a major east-west route that provides easy access to many residential and commercial areas in North Meridian and connects downtown Boise all the way west to Caldwell. Linder Road is going to be the next one, and it runs north and south and connects various neighborhoods and commercial areas. Number 3 is going to be 10 Mile Road, and that is going to be a very important north-south road that serves residential areas and connects to all the major highways like Interstate 84, Highway 2026, as well as Highway 44, also known as State Street. Eagle Road, also known as Highway 55, is going to be the next major road for North Meridian, and it runs north and south, and it's going to link North Meridian to Eagle and Boise. Because it's such a major road, Road, you're going to have a lot of shopping, dining, businesses all up and down Eagle Road, and it will also experience a lot of congestion because of this during rush hour. In the mornings, people going to and from work, in the evenings, people leaving work, and at lunch as well, because there's fast food, dining, all that kind of stuff over in that area. Moving on to Central Meridian. Central Meridian is the core of the city, located just on the north side along Interstate 84, offering a mix of residential, commercial, and cultural centers. It's where you're going to find the city's main amenities and services, along with the downtown area with smaller streets and local shops, cafes, and restaurants. Some of the key differences that you're going to notice with Central Meridian is that it is going to be the historic area. You're going to have a lot of homes that are built in the early 1900s, and then it's going to be combined with these newer roads, some newer developments. You're going to see infills in there. You're going to see a lot of shops, cafes, as well as your city hall where you're going to have your farmers market and things like that. One of the first pros about Central Meridian is that since it's the historic area, you're going to get a charm that you're not going to get with any of the newer developments. Some people like that eclectic look of the turn of the century buildings, the coffee shops, the cafes, and that is going to be unique to Central Meridian. Pro number 2 is going to be that Central Meridian has really easy access to all sorts of roads and amenities. Being that it's situated right alongside Interstate 84, there's several interchanges that can take you on and off that road, but as well as all of the arterial roads that are going to connect Interstate 84 up to North Meridian are running through Central Meridian. So you have a lot of really good thoroughfares that run through the Central Meridian area. So no matter where you are in that Central Meridian area, you're going to have really easy and direct access to a lot of places. The third pro for Central Meridian is going to be the frequency of community events in Central Meridian. Since it's that historic downtown area of Meridian before it exploded, you're going to have all of these hubs, like the farmers market is going to be held at the town hall in Central Meridian, and then all sorts of smaller stuff that goes on in the center of town. The final pro for Central Meridian is that since it's the older part of Meridian, you kind of have this, it's not a master thought out planned area. You know, you had the original folks that went in and started building in there, and then you kind of had some growth here and growth here. So you have a really good mix of some shops, some housing, you know, some schools, libraries, all this kind of growth. So it's a really diverse area where you do have housing, but then you also have some commercial areas in between there. And you're not going to see that with a lot of these newer developments where you may be getting some sort of a suburban ocean feel, like it's just housing track after housing track after housing track. You're not going to see that in Central Meridian. When it comes to cons for Central Meridian, again, this is going to tie back into the historic aspect of it. Since it's the oldest part of Meridian, a lot of the roads were built originally 2 lanes. A lot of them are still maintaining that 2 lanes, you know, 1 lane in each direction. And because that area was already built up around these roads, it makes it really hard for the roads to grow. So there can be a lot of congestion attributed to that. And since it's the older area, it's already developed, you're not going to see a lot of new stuff going in there. Or if you are going to see new construction or new businesses going in there, it's going to be infills. So maybe a house on an acre, half acre, couple acres is going to get taken down to provide the land so you have new development, or else you're just going to not see a lot of new growth in the Central Meridian area. Now, for schools for your kids in Central Meridian, you're going to be encompassed for Meridian High School and Mountain View High School. And your main roads in Central Meridian running east and west are going to be Fairview Road and Franklin Road. And these are pretty much going to be 2, maybe 3 lanes in either direction, depending on where you are. And they're going to connect all the way from Boise, clear west over to Nampa. So those are going to be your main thoroughfares running east and west. But when it comes to your north and south roads, again, you're going to see a lot of those major thoroughfares that I mentioned for North Meridian, like 10 Mile and Eagle Road. A lot of people are going to be using those to get to North Meridian. So you're also going to have access to those being in the Central Meridian area. Now, as a whole, Meridian's road system is really easy to navigate. They're based on a north and south and east and west grid. They're spaced about a mile apart, and it's really difficult to get lost. Jumping back to the road that I've mentioned a couple times now already, 10 Mile Road. With the growth of Meridian, 10 Mile was connected to Interstate 84 not that long ago, maybe a decade ago, to accommodate the growth of Meridian and the surrounding areas. With that, of course, since it's an interstate access, access, especially in the last year, there has been a ton of growth going on in that 10-mile interchange area. One of the biggest stores that's moved into that area that I am a frequent flyer at and have already spent way too much money in is Shields. It's a huge hunting, fishing, outdoors store, which is really neat to see. But the biggest thing that was just announced is that I've mentioned the village before. The village is about 60 acres. Well, there's a huge outdoor development going on over by that 10-mile area that's going to be like the village. That's what the developers have said it's going to be built like, but it's going to be about 4 times the size. It's going to be like 240 acres or something ridiculous like that. So anticipate with that, as it's already been developed, there's already apartments going in, smaller shops and boutiques going in that area. We're going to see some serious growth around that 10-mile area, and it is going to be in the Central Meridian area. So we've covered North Meridian, Central Meridian, now South Meridian. South Meridian is going to be very unique in its own way, and it's going to be a lot different than North Meridian and Central Meridian being north of Interstate 84. South Meridian is going to be very rural. So if you like farms, open spaces, that kind of thing, South Meridian hasn't seen as much growth as Meridian north of Interstate 84. Larger lots, more farms and open spaces, you're definitely going to get away from the suburban feel. So if you like Meridian but maybe want a little more elbow room, I definitely give South Meridian a serious look. But on that note, as the entire Boise area is growing, you're going to see new residential developments starting to pop up. Like one of the huge developments in South Meridian is going to be the Pinnacle development by Brighton Homes, as well as more road construction to bring up the area. Another thing that many people like about South Meridian is it has easy access to the freeway, as well as its close proximity to the neighboring town to the south, which is Kuna. So not only can you utilize all of Meridian's amenities, but you can utilize all of Kuna's amenities as well. Given its location, this lends it to host more outdoor activities than any other part of Meridian. You have easier access to public lands south of town for hunting, fishing, camping, or even taking your side-by-sides or ATVs out. I love to go out south of Meridian with my dirt bike and burn trails out there with my buddies because there's a ton of open public land out south of Meridian and south of Kuna with trails you can just ride forever. But the key differences that you can remember for South Meridian is that it's much more rural than any part of Meridian that is north of the interstate. And South Meridian is going to be seeing the most growth simply because there's room there to grow. North and Central Meridian, they're running out of room. You're running up into the town Eagle to the north, you're running into Nampa in the west, and then Boise to the east. So really, you can only grow south. So all of that growth is going to be going into South Meridian. There is a brand new park in South Meridian that is gaining a lot of attention for good reason. The Discovery Park is a huge park with tons of different amenities that no other park in the area offers, with tons of baseball fields, open spaces, bike tracks with jumps, both paved and dirt, along with a dog park and a huge playground for kids. They even have a community pool along with a community garden, and they are planning on hosting all sorts of events there, from movie nights to farmers markets and a ton of other stuff. Pros of South Meridian are going to be, number one is the rural charm. As of right now, it still does have larger lots. You're going to see maybe some horse properties, some acreage properties, whether that be an acre, 2 acres, or a half acre. You're going to have the bigger lots, and there's not as much growth and developments out there. Pro number two for South Meridian is going to be, with all of the emerging developments there, you're going to find a lot more opportunities for housing there. You're going to have a lot more choices when it comes to builders and moving in options and subdivision options, and you're going to be able to utilize the new infrastructure that is being built up in South Meridian to handle all the potential growth that is going to be going on there. The number 3 pro for South Meridian is going to be my favorite, and it's proximity to all of the opportunities south of town. So you can go out, take your ATV out, your dirt bike out, or you can go fishing or camping, everything at your fingertips in South Meridian. Pro number 4 for South Meridian is going to be a lower population density. There's not as many people in South Meridian as there are in parts of Meridian that are north of the interstate. So as of right now, you do get a lot more elbow room and a more open feel. Now, those are some great pros for South Meridian, but you're definitely going to have some cons that are associated with it. One being, since it is more rural, you're going to have less amenities. So if you're somebody who needs those boutique stores like right around the corner, maybe you want to walk from your house to go do your shopping or go get a coffee or something like that, you're not going to have that. You're going to have to go up to the upper end of South Meridian, which is just right under the Interstate 84, or you're going to have to go above that or to one of the neighboring towns. Another thing thing that is going to be associated with being more rural is you're going to have longer commute times. So if you're commuting to Boise for work, if you're living on the south end of Meridian, you're going to have to go all the way up through South Meridian to Interstate 84, take one of the side roads to go east or west, whichever way you're going to go. But since it's more open, there's more room out there, and we are seeing growth, it is going to lose its rural feel eventually. How much, I don't know, and at what rate, I don't know, but it is growth and there's room there. Farmers are selling their land. It's just the way things are going. South Meridian is going to be zoned for 2 schools. You're going to have Mountain View High School as well as Owyhee High School. That's the information I got at the time of this video. Owyhee High School, however, it is one of the newest high schools in the area, and not the newest high school in the area. However, it is north of Interstate 84, so I found it kind of weird that that's how it's zoned. I imagine it's not going to stay like that for much longer, but at the time of making this video, that is what it is. For your east to west thoroughfares, you're going to have roads like Victory Road and Amity Road that are still 1 lane in each direction, so 2-lane roads. But because you're more rural, they're not going to be heavily traveled roads, besides folks using those to commute from Boise to Nampa for work. Those are the 3 areas. I'm just going to recap those so that you can kind of remember a distinction for each of those areas. North Meridian has more modern suburban developments, family-friendly amenities, and newer infrastructure and roads. Central Meridian has a blend of historic charm and some newer developments, along with being the host location for many community events. South Meridian is going to have a rural charm with larger plots of land, also emerging residential developments, and closer proximity to outdoor activities. Meridian is slated to have a ton more growth in the near future. If you can see yourself fitting into that growth, give me a call at the number right there and check out this video right here. Till next time, I'm Isaac Crace. I'll see you then.